Welcome back to another episode of Asset Coach and Tax Strategist. I'm Robert Wolf. If you're a subscriber, thanks so much for being a subscriber. Very excited that you're here. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. We drop episodes every Thursday. And if you like our content, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like our content, give us a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions or thoughts or ideas of episodes or anything like that, go ahead and drop those in the comment section. That'd be great. We'd love to be able to address what our subscribers and our listeners are looking for. So today's episode is great job, California. Pat on the back. You've done a great job. Let's see, though. Let's see. So what the heck am I talking about? Well, let me go ahead and share my screen here. And according to Action News ABC 30, California's population grew in 2023, halting a 3-year decline. The net increase just over 67,000 residents, or a 0.17% increase, stopped a 3-year trend of population decline. So congratulations, California. Now, here's my question to you as the listener. Do you believe this? Do you believe this? But before you answer, maybe we should figure out, how does California come up with these numbers? It's probably a good idea, even if we are focusing on a decline or an increase. So let's go through here. So the nation's most populous state is growing again. Oh, yes. California gained population last year for the first time since 2019, according to a new estimate released Tuesday by Governor Gavin Newsom's administration. It's just so exciting. I'm beside myself excited. So the net increase of just over 67,000 residents in 2023, a 0.17% increase, stopped a 3-year trend of population decline, which included the state's first ever year-over-year loss during the pivotal census of 2020 that later led to California losing a congressional seat. The state estimates California now has more than 39.1 million residents. The key here led to California losing a congressional seat. This is very important. Read between the lines. The whole point of this YouTube channel is to read between the lines. All right. Again, why I asked the question, do you believe this? All right. The Newsom administration had blamed the decline on a combination of increased mortality rates during the COVID pandemic, which I'm not sure how that affected 2019 decrease, but that's okay. Maybe people were dying in preparation for COVID in 2020. I don't know. Let's see what happened. So mortality rates during the COVID pandemic, a decline in birth rates, and a slowdown in legal international immigration. The funny thing is a decline in birth rates. How do you birth rates? Actually, they show the birth rates during the pandemic period, and they actually have increased afterwards, but not in California. Well, maybe the childbearing, the birthers left the state, and that's what was a decrease. Or maybe people just stopped having sex. I don't know. Wow. Slowdown in legal international immigration, a slowdown in legal international immigration. Read between the lines, caused by a pandemic and stricter immigration rules during President Trump's administration. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right. Let's go. So 2019, 2020, and then 21 was who? Uncle Joe. 21 was Uncle Joe. 22 was Uncle Joe. And we all know the moment Uncle took the keys to the White House, what'd he do? He just dumpster fired everything that Trump had done to the previous 4 years. And what did he do with the border? Man, he didn't even hand the keys to the immigrants. He just tossed the keys, left the door open, and went on stumbling upstairs. So, I mean, but okay, I get what you're saying. Critics pointed the surge of people leaving California for other states interpreted as residents fed up with, higher taxes, that one of the highest income tax state, sales tax across the board, cost of living, a larger homeless population, and a shortage of housing while Democrats have been in power. Okay, well, honestly, there's been a shortage of housing pretty much in Texas too, and we've seen an increase. Oh, that's why there's a shortage of housing in Texas, because there's an increase. Oh, so how is people leaving the state a shortage anyways, I'm not even going to try to figure out what this means, but most people still left California in 2023, then moved here from other states, but it is far less than in previous years. Okay. So people still left California for other states, but it's been less. Well, obviously, since we're saying that it changed. In 2021, when coronavirus was still surging and more people were transitioning to remote work, California lost a net of 355,000 people. Net 355,000 people. Okay. In 23, the pandemic winding down and companies placing more emphasis on returning into office space. By the way, in 2023, we're 3 years removed and we're winding down the pandemic. California was one of the stricter states. Why? Because they're in bed with China, right? Communist California is in bed with China. So, of course, they're going to be winding down 3 years later when the rest of the country is up and running. And, that's probably why people left the state. So now there's 91,000 more people moved away from California than into the state. That number is much closer to a pre-pandemic trend. Let's see here. Well, because, by the way, pre-pandemic trend of 91,000 people, there's been a 10-year trend of people leaving the state of California. In fact, when I was in early, early 2000s, right after the triple year of economic down with the stock market, so 2000, 2001, 2002, that period, 2003 and on, there were already people leaving the state. There was a lot of young folks, new families that were leaving to Arizona, Nevada, Oregon. And that was one of the kind of the first starts of the exodus. Why? And a lot of them were business owners. Why would that happen? Because quite honestly, housing costs and then worker comp rates were skyrocketed. So a lot of business owners went across the border to see work comp rates drop by like 60 to 70% by just moving across the border. Now, we saw an increase in the beginning of the pandemic because there was a certain amount of individuals who moved out of state associated with the ability to work remotely. By the way, the ability to work remotely was really popularized because of COVID. You can't say in the beginning of or before the pandemic, but maybe they're saying at the beginning of the pandemic, people worked remotely. That could be it as well. So I don't want to misinterpret the growth from legal international immigration, which has been California's growth engine for decades. No duh. Rebounded with a net of 114,000 people in 2023. So that's what's happening is immigration is causing their population to grow, not normal working Americans leaving other states to go into California. That's not happening. There's a still large exodus of people, of Americans, residents leaving the state of California. And the only way California is able to keep up with the population is immigration. Okay. So that's why they're so, because what do they want back? That congressional seat. They don't want to lose more congressional seats. So it makes sense that they just open up the door, let anybody in, okay? And they're saying down here, population increase in 31 of California's 58 counties, including Los Angeles County. Who in the world would want to move to Los Angeles County? But it's one of the largest counties. San Bernardino County is the largest, but it is one of the largest, especially population-wise. And of course, Orange County grew because it's Orange County. Who wouldn't want to live in Orange County? Besides San Diego, I mean, Orange County is probably one of the nicest counties to live in. That's where I grew up and came from, as well as a lot of folks that have left the state and still trying to get our family and some of our friends to leave the state because nothing's going to improve. And they have made that decision. Finally, Newsom has gone through budget cuts, haven't gone through those articles and looked at that to see what they're actually cutting. But anyways, here's what I wanted to get to. Let's see here. What was it? I want to look at how they grade this. They talk about this. California Department for increases 2 population estimates, one for the previous calendar year and one for the previous fiscal year, which one's July 1 to 30th, June 30th. California. Okay, here we go. So I knew it was towards the end. So California bases its estimate on a number of factors, including birth and death rates. Okay, that's a certificate that has to be done at the hospital or at the morgue, right? So those are official documentation saying that somebody's in the world, somebody has left the world, right? Driver's license address changes. Not new driver's licenses in the state, but address changes. Big question mark for me. Vehicle registration and enrollment in government-funded health insurance programs of Medicaid and Medicare. This is how they grade their estimate. By people using government. So, okay, that's right. Immigration, remember, they're bringing immigrants in. Why? Because they can't use normal numbers, because we know the numbers are larger than what they're reporting. We know there's more people leaving. We know their population has decreased more than they're reporting, but they got to use something to this effect. In December, California was a population of 38.9 million as of July 1st of 2023. And Newsom's administration estimates as higher because they include more updated data from driver's license changes and tax filings. Now, tax filings, I get. It's a legal document that says you've earned money in the state, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you live in the state. Okay, so if you have a partner or a shareholder of a business and you're out of state, but they live in California, you're required to pay the California business tax of $800 because you have a shareholder and or a partner that lives in that state. That's it. That's so anyways, so I thought this was interesting. Do with what this information you want. I just, I have big question mark as to any data. It's just like when China comes out with anything, or quite honestly, our current administration, when they come out with anything, I question it. I don't believe it anymore. Since everything that's happened post 2020, I question everything. I everything now. Before I didn't. And so it's causing me to question things that were decided before 2020 now. Going back in history and looking at things that we were told as citizens, and I'm questioning those things. It's not black helicopter. It's fact. It's reality. They've earned this right for us to question it. Plain and simple. So anyways, hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks so much for spending your time with us and joining us. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.